Have you ever just looked at a map of world religions and had one of those, wait a second, moments? It seems like almost all of humanity's biggest faiths spring from this one single strip of land. It's kind of weird, right? Well, today we're going to figure out why. Let's get into it.
So get this. This stretch of land, this holy belt that runs all the way from the Middle East to North India, makes up less than 4% of our planet's habitable surface, just a tiny sliver of the globe. And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Is this all just one massive cosmic coincidence? Or was there something truly special about this one specific place that made it a cradle of belief?
Okay, so to solve this mystery, we've got to look at the evidence. And we're going to start our journey in the East, on the Indian subcontinent, which is home to two of the world's most ancient and, frankly, influential faiths.
First up, we've got Hinduism. It's the world's oldest living religion, which is incredible. But it's not really a single, unified faith. Think of it more like a big, vibrant family of related beliefs that have been growing and changing in India for like 5,000 years. And right at the heart of it all is this concept of karma. It's a pretty profound idea, but it's also simple. Every single action has a consequence. If you follow your moral duty, you earn good karma, and that directly influences where you end up in the great cycle of rebirth. We're talking over 1 billion followers today, and for many Hindus, the ultimate goal is something called moksha, a final release from that endless cycle of reincarnation. Figures like Krishna, who's an incarnation of the god Vishnu, are absolutely central to its teachings. Now, sprouting from that exact same spiritual soil of ancient India, you get Buddhism. And this one all started with a single person's quest to figure out the nature of suffering. That person was a prince, Siddhartha Gautama, and he came to this incredible realization that suffering is caused by our own selfish cravings. So the way out is what he called enlightenment, the state of deep peace and insight. And once he achieved it, he became known to the world as the Buddha. So the Buddha's teachings gave people a really practical guide to end suffering, but the real game changer came later with an emperor named Ashoka. His missions helped take Buddhism from a local philosophy and turn it into a global faith, spreading these ideas way, way beyond India. All right, now our journey's going to take us west, into the deserts and the fertile river valleys of the Middle East, the birthplace of the three great Abrahamic religions. And here we find Judaism. Now this began with an idea that was completely revolutionary for its time. In a world full of gods, you had this belief in one single God who made a personal call to a man named Abraham. And that call established what's known as the covenant, a sacred promise. It was a deal. In return for their faith in the one true God, Abraham's descendants would be a chosen people with a promised land. This idea became the absolute bedrock of the faith. Later, after their temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, Judaism had this major transformation. It became a religion of the book, really centered on its sacred texts like the Tanakh and the Talmud. And of course, you have key figures like Moses, who brought down the foundational laws. Now, out of this very same land and this very same tradition, Christianity was born. It started as a movement within Judaism, and it was all centered on the life and teachings of a man named Jesus. The absolute pivotal moment, the event that changed everything for Christianity, is the resurrection. The belief that Jesus was actually raised from the dead, well, that convinced his followers that his message of radical love and forgiveness was the real deal. It inspired them to go out and spread his teachings everywhere. And that simple, powerful message has resonated for 2,000 years. And part of that is just wild historical circumstance. The huge road and trade networks of the Roman Empire, they literally became the highways that carried this new faith across the entire known world. Okay, so let's jump forward about 600 years. In the Arabian desert, the final major world religion emerges from this region, Islam. And it all begins with revelations to a merchant named Muhammad. The name of the religion itself tells you everything you need to know about its core principle. Islam literally means submission. It's about surrender to the will of Allah, who is understood to be the very same one God worshipped by Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. All the words that were revealed to Muhammad are collected in the holy book, the Quran. And for a Muslim, life is guided by 5 core duties, what are known as the 5 pillars, which give structure to their faith and their daily practice. So, okay, we've seen all the evidence. 5 huge religions, all born in this one narrow belt of land. So, why here? What gives? Well, the answer isn't some mystical secret. It's actually a fascinating mix of 5 very practical, interlocking factors.
Let's break these 5 keys down. First, geography. This region was the absolute crossroads of the ancient world. It connected Europe, Asia, and Africa. Ideas traveled along these trade routes just like spices and silks. Second, you have urbanization. The world's very first cities popped up here, and when you cram a lot of people together, you need shared rules and beliefs to hold society together. Third, written language. I mean, the invention of writing right here was a total game changer. It meant you could write down complex laws and epic stories, standardize them, and send them everywhere. Fourth, universal ideas. These new cities were melting pots, so you needed faiths that weren't just for one local tribe. You needed portable beliefs that offered universal truths for anyone. And finally, number 5, imperial expansion. You had these massive empires, like the Romans, the Mauryans in India, the Islamic caliphates, and they provided the muscle and the infrastructure to spread these new faiths far and wide.
But you know, those practical reasons, they only tell part of the story. To really get the big picture, we have to zoom out and look at the deeper, human element that honestly connects every single one of these faiths.
Because while their origins are tied to a specific place and time, these religions exploded because they offered answers to universal questions. I mean, these are the questions that we all ask, no matter where or when we live. They're fundamental to being human.
In the end, I think the mystery of the Holy Belt reveals something pretty profound. It shows us that while geography and writing and empires can launch a religion onto the world stage, what keeps it alive is its ability to offer meaning, to help us search for answers beyond the everyday, and ultimately, beyond ourselves.